Emi stood at the head of the path. Somewhere among the trees was the shrine where she would spend her last 2 months as a mere mortal. Behind her, the car she'd exited rumbled quietly, the humming of the engine the only sound in the still air. The dirt road wound up the gentle slope of the mountain, but the heavy blanket of colorful leaves suggested it was seldom traveled beyond this point. Thick tree trunks lined the road like a towering fence, the barrier broken only by the path just beyond her toes. A car door slammed, and she started, tearing her eyes from the dark corridor through the trees. Her escort opened the trunk and pulled out 2 simple suitcases. He walked around the car and dropped them in the dirt beside her with a thud. She frowned at her luggage, then at her escort. "Thank you, Akio," she said politely anyway. The path drew her gaze back. A chill breeze rushed across her, tugging at her long hair, and her breath puffed out in a white haze. It was only mid-autumn, but the wind had the cold taste of winter. Gray clouds stretched between the rolling mountain peaks, dimming the late afternoon light. Leaves rustled and crunched beneath approaching footsteps. Emi smoothed her hair and shook out the long billowing sleeves of her kimono so they hung more gracefully. As she folded her hands neatly in front of her, 3 figures materialized out of the shadows and hurried down the path. The group was led by an elderly man with weathered skin and a wide smile. His dark purple robes, the traditional garb of a kannushi, a priest of the shrine, fluttered about him with minimal dignity. He rushed toward her, arms outstretched, but before she could panic that he might try to embrace her, he shuffled to a stop and dipped into a deep, respectful bow.
"My lady!"
His crackling voice warbled with excitement.
"It is an honor, such an honor. Welcome to the Shirayuri Shrine. Our home is small and humble, nothing like you're accustomed to, I'm sure. But everything we have is yours to—"
The car door slammed again, cutting the kannushi off. Emi turned, bewildered to see Akio back in the driver's seat. The engine revved as he pulled a sharp U-turn and accelerated back down the road. Heat rushed into her face as she gaped after the vehicle. She spun back to face the kannushi. "My apologies for the rudeness of my escort," she stammered. I'm not sure." She trailed off, at a loss to explain away Akio's humiliatingly abrupt departure.